Hello everyone, my name is Anishana and you are watching Kubernetes web series. Today we are going to cover one interesting topic, that is what is DaemonSet. Agenda of this video. The first topic is what is DaemonSet. We will try to understand not only what is DaemonSet but also learn the difference between DaemonSet and deployment. After this we will look into the use case of DaemonSet. Next would be understand the fields in YAML file. What extra options we need to add or remove it. Next, how to create YAML file for DaemonSet from YAML or command line. Afterward, how to create DaemonSet. After creating the DaemonSet, we will investigate the options how we can check DaemonSet. Is there any upgrade strategy for DaemonSet? That we will check in this topic. If we want to delete the DaemonSet, that we will learn on this topic. In the last, we will do the lab as usual. Our first topic is what is DaemonSet. Let's suppose we have 4 node clusters and out of which one node is master and 3 worker nodes. In the YAML file, we are going to create deployment and it should have 2 replica. Therefore, deployment will create 2 pods on any worker node as per the scheduler list. If we're talking about DaemonSet, in the YAML file, we have mentioned the kind equal to DaemonSet. D and S are capital. Beside this, there is no replica option available because DaemonSet will create a pod equal to number of worker nodes by default. In future, if we add a new worker node, then our existing DaemonSet will spawn a new pod on new worker node automatically. And if we delete the any worker node, then it will delete the pods from that worker node instead of transferring this pod to running worker node. DaemonSet is a resource object in Kubernetes that provide declarative update to applications. We instruct Kubernetes system through object that how we want our clusters workload to look. DaemonSet is a part of controller like deployment. So this is our controller which run the infinite loop and check the status of DaemonSet. Once the object created, our controller checks the desired and current state. A DaemonSet ensures that some nodes run a copy of pod. If a new node is added to the cluster, the DaemonSet will create a new pod on that node. Similarly, if a node is removed from the cluster, the DaemonSet will automatically delete the pod running on that node. This makes DaemonSet useful for running cluster-wide services that need to be available on every node. Deleting a DaemonSet will clean the pod it created. So these are the official definition as per the Kubernetes website for DaemonSet. Next topic is use case of DaemonSet. So now we understand the difference between DaemonSet and deployment. So where we can use this DaemonSet. Running a cluster storage daemon on every node, it means offering the storage services. Running a log collection daemon on every node. To explain more, to collect the logs of pods within worker node. Running a node monitoring daemon on every node. In simple terms, we can say that it is often used to run daemon processes such as storage, logging, or monitoring agent on every node in a cluster to monitor the running pods. Now the third topic is understand the fields in YAML file. This is the simplest DaemonSet YAML file. One can notice kind equal to DaemonSet and there is no replica option in this. As I mentioned previously, DaemonSet will create a pod on each worker node. So no need to define any replica here. Nothing more here. All other fields are already explained on deployment and replica set topic. Therefore, let's move to further next topic. How to create YAML file for DaemonSet. We can create only a DaemonSet from YAML file. There is no direct command for DaemonSet like we do have for deployment. But I will explain you how we can use the command line option to generate the DaemonSet YAML file from the command line through the YAML file. Let's go with command line first. As I said, There is no direct command to create the DaemonSet. Thus, we have to create the DaemonSet YAML file manually. But the good thing is that a minor modification in the deployment YAML file, we can have the DaemonSet file ready. Thus, in order to create a DaemonSet, we can use deployment command option. The command will produce the deployment YAML file and the output would be like this. Here I use hyphen hyphen dry run equal to client minus o YAML. First, we would like to change the kind option from deployment to DaemonSet. Remove the options replica and strategy from the deployment YAML file and our DaemonSet YAML file is ready. As you can see in the second table output, just remove these two things and modify this. So command line option is completed and through YAML file, this is also completed because we were playing with YAML file, isn't it? So let's move to next topic, how to create DaemonSet. So this is our daemon YAML file. So copy this content to a file. We call it test-daemonset.yaml file. Afterward, we just need to create the object like we did for deployment or replica set. The command would be kubectl create -f test-daemonset.yaml file. From the output, we can assure that our DaemonSet is created successfully. So next topic is how to check DaemonSet. We have already created the DaemonSet. How we can check? We can execute the command kubectl describe object type is DaemonSet and then followed by DaemonSet name. This is the simplest DaemonSet. We didn't mention the node selector. I will cover in this topic. Therefore, node selector field is none. The DaemonSet has its own label and we can use this label afterward. The desired number of nodes schedule is 2 because we have 2 worker nodes. In the end, you will notice the pods are created successfully. These are the information that we can check for DaemonSet. As I said, we have 2 worker nodes named worker 1 and worker 2. If we check the pods created by this DaemonSet by we are executing the command this and these 2 pods are created on each node. We can check a DaemonSet by executing the command kubectl get daemonsets.apps or by kubectl get daemonset and then daemonset name or ds is a short form of daemonset. As you notice here that the name of the daemonset is test1.daemonset and the next column is desired. It means desired pod is 2. If we execute this command kubectl get pods, we get to know that the name of the pod managing by this daemonset. Further, one can notice ready column. This column inform us this pod has one container running. So let me explain again. If we execute this command kubectl get daemonset, it will give you the information that what daemonset is currently running and how many pod this daemonset is managing. When we execute this command kubectl get and grab test1.daemonset, then it will inform us the pod names and how many containers are running inside this pod. Update strategy for DaemonSet as we did for deployment. So we can also upgrade the DaemonSet. DaemonSet has two strategy types. One is on delete and the second one is rolling update. On delete, this option was used before Kubernetes 1.5 version. After update the DaemonSet template, new DaemonSet pod will be created when we delete the old pod. It means that once we update the template file after and use kubectl apply option, then we have to manually delete the existing pod. Then the new pod will be created from the new updated template file. And the other option is rolling update. Nowadays, this is the default strategy. After you update the DaemonSet template, old template set pod will be killed and new DaemonSet pod will be created automatically in a controlled fashion. At most, One pod of DaemonSet will be running on each node during the whole upgrade process. If you want to update the DaemonSet through imperative commands, then you can use kubectl edit option. If you want to use declarative command, then you can use kubectl apply. For this, first I need to update the YAML file and then run the command kubectl apply command. We can check the upgrade status by running this command, and the output describe the update status, update successful message. If you want to update the container image only, then you can also use kubectl set image. From the output, we may get to know that image is updated. All these command options I had already covered on my deployment topic. So if you haven't watched that video, please go and must watch this video. So let's proceed next, how to delete the daemon set. So first check kubectl get ds-1.daemonset. So it will produce this output, right? And after that kubectl get pods minus o white. We get to know that these ports are running on different worker nodes. So let's delete this. The command is very simple. Kubectl delete ds/test1.daemonset. Afterward, we can check kubectl get pods minus o void grep test. Same command I'm going to execute here. Now this time I must see this output. No resource found in default namespace. Afterward, kubectl get ds test1. If I check the daemon set, so it says no object is found. So let's go to the last topic, that is lab. In order to start the lab, I have already logged in into my GitHub page. Here I need to click on Kubernetes, and after that scroll down and then click on DaemonSet. Here I have already uploaded the PPT. If you want, you can download this PPT. For the lab purpose, I'm just click on lab. How to create DaemonSet from the kubernetes.website. I just need to click here and then right click here. Before that, let me show you that nothing is created here in this. It's all free. Yes, nothing is created. One service is there. That's it. It is created. If I go to this site, let me check if I can go like this or not. Okay, this YAML file is downloaded here. So in this YAML file, I get to know what the namespace. Namespace is cube system. So this Fluent Elasticsearch daemon set is created inside this cube system. From the command line, yes, I can also check here kubectl get daemon set minus n cube system system. Here I can see Fluent Elasticsearch is created. Okay, let's go. How to create YAML file for daemon set from command line. For that reason, I need to create the use this deployment command minus o. So I need to copy this for the sake of easiness. I have already copied this file here. So as you can see here that I have already modified daemon set and remove the replica and strategy part here. This and this I have already removed. Okay, so let me copy this file and paste it over test1.daemonset YAML file. Next, how I can create from the create minus F is for file name. It is created. How to check daemon set? Below command should be shows two daemon set, one from kubernetes.io and the second one is from command line. So let's check. As I said that it's created inside cube system. Let me clear the window so that you can see the subtitle. And now it is showing Fluent Elasticsearch is there. And how I can see only this one. Let's give it only this one. So desired is 3, current is 3, ready is 3. And if I execute only this command, ds is stand for daemon set. It's a short form of daemon set. So desired is 2, current is 2. So this is my daemon set that I created from the YAML file, and this daemon set created from the kubernetes.ios. And if you can check here, affinity rules are already there. Tolerance is already there. So for that reason, it match all. So it created three. I will discuss in my next video how we can add the tolerance. For now, for this video, we are just talking about only the how to create the daemon set. We just get familiar with this daemon set, right? And the advanced part I will cover in some other topic. If I want daemon set, so this is the second way we can use like this. So kubectl get type of resource, type of object, and then object name. If we want to create daemon set in the namespace manually, so let's create one namespace here. Core, clear the window, and then use the same file, but this time we are going to create inside the core namespace. So I should not receive any error message, as you can see here that. And now if I want to see, get minus n is for namespace is core. Now I can see two pods are running. Diamond set, do not create a replica set. This is, I forget in the theory part. So let me show you here. Get rs, there is nothing. Replica set is there. And this core we just created. Again, if we can check rs, it is not available. So it means that daemon set not create a replica set. To identify the pod managed by this daemon set, you can use kubectl get node command. So we have two worker nodes and one is master. So by default, as per the Kubernetes, we have added the taint. Taint means we cannot schedule any pod on master nodes by default. But yes, we can modify the configuration file of YAML file. When we do, we can also schedule the pod on master nodes. This is what it did in the kubernetes.io website when we create the daemon set here. I will cover this topic, so don't worry. So for now, you just think about it. We can only schedule the pod on worker nodes. How to identify the pods managed by these daemon set? The code pod is already there. So let me remove. Control W is for removing the word. Now we can see that one pod is spawn on worker node 1, the other pod is spawn on worker node 2, and both are running. And this is test daemon 1, right? Same thing if I check from minus n core, you will observe the same output. Obviously, the IP address is different, right? Let's proceed further. For more verbose, yes, we can use describe daemon set. And now you will see the pod name, everything you will see here. Number of node schedule, up to date 2. To identify the container name, we can use this kubectl get and then minus o YAML file. And if we scroll up inside this specs section, we have specs again and then container and then name. So name of our container is nginx, right? And if we want to upgrade the container image from 1.14.2, so we just update it to 1.16.1. And if I use this pod get pod, I must see a new pod names. So let's verify before it was. So these are the pod names. So 2F and XP. Now the pod name is changed. It means these pods are new pod. And here the age is 8 seconds also. How we can check if it's using the new version, that I will check here from this command here. DaemonSet. Okay. So I need to update the pod name here. So guys, if you are using this command, so you need to update the your pod name here. Now from this environment, I can see that 1.16.1 is set. It means we have successfully upgraded. How we can check rollout status? That is the important command. kubectl rollout status. It says successfully rollout. Very good. And describe is again one another option. And we just grab 1.16. So we get to know that okay, our nginx is 1.16.1. We can also edit the DaemonSet YAML file directly, right? Just change the nginx 1.16.1 to 1.14.2. It's easy. Let's do it. So here my port name is this. Now it should change. Search for image and press enter. And here it is. A is append and then 14.2. Save and exit and check pod. Now HKS is changed and it is creating here. So one port should be available inside the cluster at least. Now both are running. Let's proceed further. We can also do the rolling back to a previous revision. So we have rollout undo option. So let's use this undo option. Before that, let's check the nginx version is updated or not. So for that, I need to update this port name. It is 1.14.2. Super. Clear the window. And now this time going to rollout undo. Get pod. Now a new pod is creating. Show labels. We can also use this label option from where we get to know app equal to test1 and how to delete the daemon set. So first I'm going to delete this daemon test.daemon. Let me here delete it pod test.daemon. Nothing is found here, but it should be there inside the minus n core namespace. Yes, because we have deleted the default daemon only. And get daemon, if I use this, I will see nothing is there, right? And how I can clear the lab? Very easy. Just click here and it will delete the core daemon and Fluent Elastic daemon that we created at the time of from the Kubernetes website. Press enter. Now execute the command kubectl get all. I should not see anything here, right? From in this way, we have completed and also validate that all these commands are working. So you can use this lab at your home. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much, guys. Bye bye.